Okay, red velvets, my black women, my black men, all of y'all, come on in her own. Now, remember when I told y'all I went on that whole little tangent a couple days ago? It might have been last week where I told y'all that one of the issues in the black community is that they keep taking our recreational and extracurricular and academic programs from us. And I told y'all that when they see that the program works, they take it. Here is a recent time, y'all, that just happened of them doing this. Okay, so this is May 22nd. College computer science program for black women canceled weeks before start. UA and Tuskegee University were two of 7 colleges that offer programming funded by one of the grants terminated by the National Science Foundation in April. Now the $3.5 million program has come to a halt, weeks before students were set to arrive on UA's campus in June. So, Manuel and hundreds of other high school students receive training, mentorship, and support on advanced placement tests as part of a national effort to encourage more black women to enter computer science. Now, these young ladies are hyped up, they excited, they ready to go. Now, it's called the Legacy Program. The Legacy Program, a collaboration between 7 predominantly white and historically black colleges, plan to work with 600 students from Mississippi, Ohio, Michigan, and Alabama through 2028. The year-long program included mentorship from leaders at companies like Intel and training on computing and coding. Black women make up only 30% of the tech workforce, and even fewer black women have leadership roles in Silicon Valley. Now check this. Now remember, y'all, I told y'all they take them when they work. I told y'all this. Legacy was an expansion of an Alabama program that began in 2019. Initial results showed 72% of 71 of the black girls who participated received a score of 3 or higher on the AP test. They outpaced the national average score for every other group, including white and Asian males, according to Mohammed Quasi. I hope I pronounced that right. One of the project's faculty members at Tuskegee University. What I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? Now, what I had told y'all. I've been an educator and working in education, y'all, for years. For years. Literally my first job ever in life. I was 16 years old and I work as a camp counselor. So I've been working with kids that long. And as a volunteer and as an actual employee. And what did I tell y'all? Go back to my previous videos. What did I tell y'all? When they give the funding for the program, they start the program because they think that black kids are going to fail because they think that we're incompetent. They'd be like, oh, well, let's give it to them. You know, it's another way to prove they couldn't do it anyway. We're going to cut the funding anyway because, but it'll appease them. It's performative, right? To say that we did it, right? To say that we're doing busy work to uplift the black community out of poverty, to keep these kids out of prisons, to keep these kids off the streets, to keep these kids from committing crime. When these kids show up and show out, they take the program. They take the funding. I told y'all. Clock it.
Now, there's a rage amongst the black community or the black Americans based on how allocations of educations are being distributed. They feel that the whites are more considered than them in terms of the opportunities in the learning institutions. So these videos shows how they are not so much happy about how these opportunities are shared, and advises the American government to consider them in terms of these locations, be it funding of the tertiary education and even the social amenities in the society. So let us watch this video and get back to react on them in the end.
African students don't feel safe in the U.S. anymore. When this student first arrived in the U.S. to pursue her graduate degree, she was confident in the freedom of thought that the universities often promise. But that sense of freedom is starting to feel a little less stable. Since Donald Trump returned to office, his tough stance on immigration has been making waves again, and with it, a crackdown on academic institutions. For African students in the U.S., It's like living in two different worlds, one full of academic opportunity and the other where detention, deportation, and political punishment feel like real threats. Take Mamadou Tau, for instance, a British Gambian doctoral student whose visa was revoked after he joined pro-Palestine protests. Mamadou tried to fight the decision in court, but a judge ruled against him last Thursday. Then there's Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate and lawful permanent resident who was detained after being accused of supporting Hamas. Then, this Nigerian student told us that she is closely watching the situation unfold. She also took part in pro-Palestine marches, but says the past few weeks have made her rethink her every move, and she's been talking to lawyers. Recently, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the U.S. isn't here to import activists, and that these students are here to study. Some students are seriously worried while others are staying quiet, and it has created a mix of fear and denial that's spreading across campuses. Are you or someone you know in the same situation? How are you coping with this?
They had us go to the rec at about 1:30 and they broke the news to us and they had us go to the dorms, pack our stuff.
The staff on site would not say a word to us, but sources tell us it was shut down after recent cuts at the Department of Labor, which oversees the program.
I didn't want him to be a statistic, so I wanted him to be focused and get his education.
16-year-old Carlton Davis lived here, and his mom recently lost their house, and there's more.
I have breast cancer surgery next week, so now I'm debating having my surgery canceled so I can make sure my son is okay.
I'm livid. I am livid. I cannot believe this.
Community activist Pastor Mo trying to help out here after getting calls from frantic mothers. He's worried about the short and long-term solutions for these kids.
The ones who are trying to get it right. That's why I'm so pissed off. These are not kids are in a youth home who got caught in a crime. These are kids who are trying to avoid getting caught in a crime.
So Yale, Princeton, and Duke have been threatened with a lawsuit over the decline in Asian American enrollment since the removal of affirmative action. If you're new here, this page is dedicated to the shared experiences of Black college students and grads from HBCUs to PWI. The numbers that the team is pressed about. Duke went from having 35% of Asian American students enrolled to 29%. Yale went from having 30% of students enrolled to 24%. Princeton went from having 26% of Asian American students enrolled to 23.8%. What do you think the Black enrollment is at each of these schools? Black enrollment has remained just about the same. And so when we are talking about a decrease in Asian American student enrollment, how is it that Black student enrollment is taking away? It's like the math is not mathing. They don't have a problem with the fact that 40% of students are enrolled at colleges that accept legacy admissions. Legacy admissions based on the history of this country who are predominantly white. They don't have a problem with legacies benefiting from a system. So instead of looking at the legacy admissions at these universities, they're honing in on a small percentage of Black students who are enrolled at these universities and saying the Black students are taking our spots, as opposed to looking at where a majority of the admissions are coming from. I'll never forget, because I went to the University of Georgia, predominantly white institution. I remember being in a class and having the dreaded conversation about affirmative action with my peers and then saying like, you know, hey, I don't think this is right because you're taking the spot of a friend who was more qualified than you to be at this institution. Okay, so you think I took your friend's spot, but we just got our test scores back yesterday. I got 100 on that test. What did y'all get? I saw some of the papers come back with 50s and 60s, etc., but I don't deserve to be here. Maybe you took your friend's spot. How about that? Because you're flunking, you're frying bacon in the back of a classroom, you're getting the answers to tests from your fraternity or sorority, and I'm sitting here studying because I don't have access to that level of privilege. And what I want people to be honest with themselves about is not everyone is pulling themselves up from their bootstraps. Let's get rid of that American meritocracy theory of you work hard and you get X outcome. Because some of you are not working hard. but you think your outcomes are because you worked hard. And when people don't have those same outcomes, it's not because they're not working as hard as you. It's because they don't have that same level of privilege, proximity, or luck and chance. So all I want to say is, Black students at PWIs, you have earned your spot. You're going to graduate and you're going to do great things.
One thing we have to agree is that America still has a long way to go in terms of placing every culture where they should be, or rather giving a fair platform for every race, be it black or white, or even the Latinos. I saw recently the Latinos being considered immigrants, and even Trump, the president, is so much interested in deporting these immigrants, with the blacks saying that they are not joining the train because they were settlers, or they have been people whose forefathers were the builders of that nation. So there's a conversation on how there is still disparity in allocating resources in America, whereby the whites are still getting the lion's share as compared to the blacks. This is a question of after how long will we achieve the equality that God wanted us to have, because in the face of it, there's no human that is much perfect than the other. And if you look at history of the American community, blacks were taken there forcefully and worked in the farms, and also helped in the development of infrastructural growth of the American government. So after a while, they were considered also as citizens of this country. But how would you treat I don't fathom it, how you treat your citizens unequally, because when you get a citizenship, there's always a right that every citizen should have, or how each and every citizen should be treated. There's nowhere in the Constitution or American Constitution whereby one should have a better lifestyle or consideration than the other. That is the message that is not auguring well for the blacks, as seen in this video, because they need equal opportunities, they need scholarships, they need an environment where they can give out their view without being considered as lesser beings. So if you're watching us for the first time, I urge you to share your thought, also like and comment, or share this video. Also, do not forget to make your subscription, because that is how we have been interacting with different people on this platform, because we are trying to create an environment where everyone feels part and parcel of this broader world. Blacks are humans. Thank you, and may God bless you.